Did you watch Best 60% Mechanical Keyboards of 2020, but you wondered when's the Best 65% Mechanical Keyboards video coming? Because you really need those arrow keys. Well, I also needed those arrow keys, and I've done a ton of research. We've reviewed a lot of 65% keyboards this year, and there's a lot more coming up. But in this video, we're going to cover some of the best 65% mechanical keyboards right here of this year. But first, I would like to say it's not an all-inclusive list. There are so many more keyboards out there that could be on this list. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment them. Whether it's custom or stock or whatever, share your thoughts down below. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, this is Betty from Switch and Click, and I'm back with another really big roundup video. Now, this was a really hard video to put together, to get all the keyboards, to decide which one, and to really organize it in a way where I thought it would be easy to understand or helpful to somebody. But I hope with all these different options and some of my knowledge and experience and recommendations, you can go out there and find yourself a 65% keyboard of your own. We've got in-depth reviews of most, if not all of these mechanical keyboards, and if there's not a video about it already, then we have an article review on our website at switchandclick.com that you can read through if you want. I will compile a playlist of all the in-depth reviews of the keyboards mentioned here, and I'll link that right here if you're interested. Keep in mind that some of them may not be out yet or may not be completed yet, but they will be eventually. They're in the works. But anyways, we'll cover two different categories. One category will be under $100 and the other one will be over $100. And then of course at the end, we'll list some custom options too that you can look at or consider. But of course, finding those items in stock right now can pose some difficulties. All right, let's begin with the under $100 category. And of course, we have to start with the Kludge RK68. This is not the cheapest of the entire list, but it's one of the better budget 65% keyboards out there. This one can be found for about $60 on the internet right now. If you're really lucky, you can find a coupon somewhere where you can get it for around $50 to $52, depending on where you're from or where you're looking from. But this one is really nice. I did an in-depth review recently. It's got Bluetooth 5.1. It can connect up to 5 devices. You just switch the battery on in the back and then hold FN and Q, W, E, R, or T to connect to your devices. Of course, being a 65%, it's got arrow keys as well. It does have RGB, a ton of different effects available here. The USB-C port is in the middle, quite convenient. There are no kick-up feet anywhere though, so if you want to change the angle, this one probably might not be for you. Alongside that, it's got ABS plastic keycaps that might shine over time. As for the layout, it's a basic 65% layout, nothing too special to be seen. We do have the tilde delete page up, page down on the far right. And another feature that it has is that it can record up to 3 macros on Z, X, and C. But of course, all of that information is in our in-depth video linked in the playlist right here. So if you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and do that. It also is Mac and Windows compatible too. So it is one of my favorite 65% keyboards, and at this price, it's really good. It's got preloop stabilizers. The switches are okay. That's one of the things that I didn't like about these switches is that they're TTC switches, and I don't know too much about their longevity, what they offer, who they're made by, and things like that. But for $50 to $60, this is a steal. Now, if you're looking for something even cheaper, but you don't care about the updated Bluetooth 5.1, then you can check out a RK68 look-alike pretty much. This is by Epomaker, and this is the Epomaker S68. The build is exactly like the RK68, except it's got Bluetooth 3.0. It can still connect up to 5 devices, but it's not as updated and it could be a little bit slower. Alongside that, it's got the Otomu switches, So if you're not interested in using those budget switches, then this one might not be for you. But this is at $50 right now on Amazon, and that is the cheapest keyboard on this list. So for $50, it's still really good. It does come in black or white, and it does have RGB lighting as well. The sales page says that they're optical switches, and so does the box, but for some reason I don't believe that. I think it's still mechanical, since I don't think Womier makes optical switches. So this is what you can get for 50 bucks. If it were me, I would just go for the Royal Kludge K68, because that way I know exactly what I'm getting. All right, so there's another board that I would really like to mention at around the $70 price range. I don't have it with me because we had to sell it while moving across the country, and that is the Womier K66. Now, if you remember this, we did an in-depth review, I'll link it right here. This is probably the best RGB board in this entire list. It has an acrylic case, top, bottom, middle. It has underglow, side glow, and of course the glow from the keycaps itself. And you can change the underglow separately from the top glow. It's got the arrow keys, and it's got a really unique layout. The right shift is 2U, so that's a little bit different than many of these 65% boards. That's something to look out for. Alongside that, it is just really cool. It's hot swappable, or there is a hot swappable version of it at least. It's got ABS keycaps, the legends are really clean, a detachable USB-C port, and all those good things. The acrylic case also gives it a deeper sound, and it's not as pingy as other boards can be. But it is different. If you're into RGB, definitely check that one out. It's really cool looking. Downside to that one is it's got ABS keycaps, and the right shift is an odd keycap size. So I'll put up a picture or some B-roll or something of it right now, and you can look at that. All right, the next one on this list is packed full of features, and that is the Keychron K6. Now this was my main board for several months, and I did a ton of mods to it and all that stuff. So lots of good things here. The price ranges from $69 to $99 depending on what option you are choosing, and there's a lot of options. So the cheapest option is going to be the white backlight only with no aluminum bezels. Now we got the one with hot swappable sockets, with RGB, with aluminum bezels, so it was about $99. The fully packed keyboard is probably what I would recommend you get if you're interested in getting the K6. So the K6 is Mac and Windows compatible. It's got Bluetooth, can connect up to 3 devices, and it can also be hot swappable. So it's really cool. It has a function row dedicated to the Mac layout, and you can change everything just from these slide toggles on the right. Some downsides here though is that it's got ABS keycaps, and the legends are really small, low contrast. Doesn't shine the RGB through nicely, and it does have 2 kick-up feet here on the back, so you can change the angles as you want. I really do like the aluminum bezels. It's sturdy, it makes it heavier, it feels good. Another downside here is no software, so you can't reprogram this lighting key, and there's no dedicated delete key. That's on the second layer, so that's why I'm not a huge fan of this board anymore. But it was a game-changing board back when it came out because hot swap wasn't as common back then. But it does look really good with the 2-tone keycaps, and you can definitely check it out if you want. Really good board, although the next board I would say is what I would recommend for the under $100 price range. So this is the Akko 3068 9009 Retro Edition, and this is what I would recommend if you're going to buy a keyboard under $100. Unless you really wanted hot swap, then this board's not going to provide it for you. If you want a stock built, ready to go board, this is it. The stabilizers are beautifully great, no rattle. The switches are Cherry MX switches, which isn't too common at this price range. Alongside that, the keycaps are all PBT, they're dye sublimated. It looks really good. It comes with extra keycaps with these special colors. All of the boards on this list have a detachable USB port, whether it's USB-C or mini USB. So I did a review of this recently, and this is a really good board for under $100. It sounds really good. It has a nice deep sound to it, a nice great feel. But here's the thing. It's got no special features. It's got no Bluetooth. It's got no Mac function row. It's got no, like none of this, no hot swap, no RGB even. But for something that's high quality, that's gonna last, that feels good right out of the box, no mods, this is the one to pick. This is the one I would recommend. There are some downsides though. There's no kick-up feet. There's no backlight, RGB or white, and it's super simple. But that's the benefit here. It's simple, it looks good, and it feels good. This is what I would pick. But for those of you who need RGB, I would go for the Royal Kludge or the Epomaker GK68X. This one's got a lot of unique things going for it as well. You don't get any kick-up feet, but you do get a spacebar module here that you can do a split spacebar with. It does come with the full spacebar as well if you want that. It's got RGB, but the keycaps that come with it are die-sub. It's GSA profile, so it's uniform, but it's got a layout problem here, and that's the backspace here is moved back 1U. Not a huge fan, but if you use backspace with backslash on another key, then it's a pretty good thing. This one's hot swap. They also sell a version that's Bluetooth for a little bit more expensiveness. They also sell a version with the full aluminum case for a lot more expensiveness. But it's got a split spacebar, it's got RGB, the keycaps are PBT, they are oil resistant, they feel good, and they look good. You don't need to get the pink version, they have other colors as well. Did I mention it's hot swap? It's got 5-pin hot swap sockets. It's pretty convenient when you're testing out switches and trying to do mods. The stabilizers on there definitely need some mods. Of course, all of the sound tests of each keyboard on this list will be at the end, and then they'll also be at the end of the in-depth review videos as well. All right, so those were all of the 65% keyboards on this list that are under $100. If you want the best one that's stock, that doesn't need any mods, but you don't need RGB, I would pick the Akko 3068. If you wanted Bluetooth, then I would either go for the RK68 or the Keychron K6. They're sort of a tie there in that respect, but they're all really good boards. I recommend you checking them out using the links down below and just making a decision on what you think would be best for you. But now for the really good stuff, and that's the stuff that's over $100. It's a really competitive price range. Got a lot of expensive boards here, but we're gonna start off with one of my favorites, and that is the Ducky Miya Pro. We did get the all-white edition, but they have a lot of different colorways and everything too. It's got kick-up feet, it's got rubber feet, it's got a USB-C port. Downside here is that this port is on the right side, and I'm used to everything being on the left side, so like my cable is crisscross across my desk, and I don't like that. It does have a completely standard bottom row with a normal right shift as well. So that's one of the benefits here, is that you don't need to look for special keycap sizes or anything to fit this layout. A downside though is that it's a little wider than other 65% boards. So it is a little bit wider by about 1 row, even though it has all the same keys. Then that's because they have a blocker for the arrow keys right here. And then you got this 4 cluster here as well. And I really like this layout. It looks really good. I dig these separate arrow keys. And it comes with Cherry MX switches, variety of different colors, PBT, die-sub, legends. Really nice. Really, really nice. This is a pleasure to type on and a pleasure to use. The stabilizers are amazing, like on any other Vermillo keyboard. This one is good. Actually, everything at this price range is good except for one thing. Another board that gets the basics right is the Leopold FC660M. It's got kick-up feet in the back. It's got dip switches, so you can change the layout without software or anything. And it's also got a little bit of space here with that unique layout. It is a little bit longer than a regular 65% keyboard as well, but I really like it. Downside though is it's got a mini USB port and it's on the right side, so if your cable could be crisscrossing across your desk. The best things about this board is that it has a sound dampening material within the board underneath the PCB. It's also got sound dampening foam underneath the space bar here. And the keycaps are some of the best stock keycaps on a board that I've ever used. They are double shot PBT, and these legends are never going to fade. This is a quality board. Spacebar is really nice. Really good sounds coming from this board. But that mini USB cable though, ooh. Oh, I forgot to mention. It's got Cherry MX switches, but for a large amount more, you can also get this with toe brace switches, if that's your thing. Now, the next one, if you're really into RGB, then I would propose this is the best board on this entire list. RGB in this one is a winner. This is the Ducky One SF. And it's a classic. It's got a bottom that's white, a top that's black for that contrast. It's got two kick-up feet, it's got dip switches, it's got nice PBT keycaps that are double shot and shine through. It does come with some different colored keycaps and of course the Zodiac space bar as well that lets RGB shine through really nicely. And all of the RGB can be edited on the board alone, along with macros. Everything is firmware, no software needed, and the manual tells you how to do everything. It does take some time to get used to. You got your USB-C port here. It just looks really good. I love that this board has all of the secondary functions on the caps themselves. You don't need to memorize too many things after you get the hang of it, and can do mouse movement via the secondary functions. It can do media functions. It's got a lot going on for it, but RGB wise, this one is the way to go. Oh, and it comes with Cherry MX switches of a variety of different kinds, along with, I believe, KL as well. And it does have a 2U right shift, so keep that in mind when you're looking for replacement caps for that. Although I don't recommend replacement caps because all those secondary functions on there are quite nice to have. The Ducky One SF looks good and it feels good, but it doesn't feel quite as solid as the Miya Pro or the Leopold. But RGB wise, it's a winner. And then we have the most expensive stock board on this list, and that is the Drop Alt, coming in at around $180, I believe. We did get the bare bones version for $140, put in our own keycaps, our own switches, but these are the original keycaps that comes with the drop control. So you can expect something similar that's two-toned, that's PBT double shot with shine through. The RGB on this board is really nice. It doesn't have kick-up feet in the back, but it does have magnetic feet that you can use to raise the incline. Alongside that, this is the only keyboard on this list with a full aluminum. It's got two USB-C ports here, so you can connect to your computer with one and then do a low voltage charge on your phone or something like that on the other. It is hot swappable. It's got 3-pin hot swappable sockets and plate mounted stabilizers. The stabilizers on this thing just are not good. You definitely should upgrade them or mod them or do something about them because they sound just really, they're clicky and they're just not good at all. And for this price, really, I just wouldn't recommend this board. If you're going to pay $180 for a keyboard, there are other options out there. You can look at the custom options that are out there that are going to be better than this. This is QMK compatible though, so everything is programmable from the standard layer to the RGB to many, many layers to come. It does have its benefits, but it's really expensive for what it's offering. And then let's talk about customs. There are so many options, so many good options here. I'm not going to name all of them, but I really do enjoy a heavy, nice custom. This is the Tofu 65 from KBD fans. It's got a brass plate on the back, no feet though, and this thing is chonky. It's got a USB-C port here. I did solder this all, so it's You can get a hot swappable version if you get the DZ65 PCB. You can build it to your desire, get the switches you want, lube the switches, get the stabilizers you want, mod the stabilizers, add foam. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. You can have 28 different switches on there if you want to. But there are a lot more cheaper options, and let's start with the Novelkeys K65 Entry Edition. So this starts at $95. It's got a polycarbonate case and aluminum plate. It's got plate mounted stabilizers, and it's got 5-pin hot swappable sockets. It is VIA compatible, and there are a ton of different colors available. One downside though is that the $100 is the kit only, and it doesn't include switches or keycaps. So you're gonna have to buy those separately, but depending on what you pick, it could still be pretty affordable, at least way more affordable than the Drop Alt. Another good one is the DZ65 PCB, that's the RGB edition. That one is a hot swappable PCB, and it's got RGB. You can combine it with the Tofu 65 case, that's this case, and there's different colors available, or you can get the Tata 68 case on KBD fans as well. And that's about $185 without switches or keycaps. So the price is definitely going up right now. And then there's the KBD67. This one hasn't been in stock recently from what I know, and it is about $240. It looks really good though. It's very clean, nice design. There's also the D65 on KBD fans. That one's $330. It's 65%. It's got a really nice, clean look. Definitely check that one out. And then we have a new one. I think the Keychron company is doing it, and it's called the Portico. Ton of different colors available as well. You can check that out at their website, the Keychron company. And alongside that, there are so many group buys out there. There's a lot of interest checks going on, there's group buys going on, there's different places where you can check out everything. Or you can even go to the mech market on Reddit. Of course, you'll be paying quite a premium if you go there, but there is a lot of convenience when you can just buy everything already built by somebody else. All right, so we just covered a ton of stuff, and I think this one was a little bit more overwhelming than the best 60% video because there's so many options here, there's so many different features, and there's not a lot of price variation here. So which one would I go with? If I had to pick one, I would go with the Ducky Miya Pro. It's got a standard bottom row, so I don't need to look for anything when it comes to keycap replacements. It's got kick-up feet. It's got a function where you can change the places of caps lock and control, and it's also got another function where you can replace the number row with the function row. I don't really use that, but I do like using caps lock as control. It's got Cherry MX switches, and the build just feels so good. It feels so nice, and the stabilizers are really good. My second choice would be the Leopold FC660M. The sound dampening material in the board is a definite bonus, and the spacebar seems pretty good. Yes, the USB port is outdated, and I don't like the side that it's on, but the keycaps are some of the best that I've ever seen. For the budget option, I would go for the RK68 at about $60. You can probably find it for $55 somewhere. Really good board. I mean, it's $60 and it's got Bluetooth 5.1 and RGB and lube stabilizers. It's looking like the winner for sure. All right, so that was the video. I hope it was really helpful and not super overwhelming. I know there's like so many things to look at and talk about and features, but that's why we have in-depth reviews of all these boards. Playlist will be right here, so go check that out. And then what are some other 65% keyboards that you would recommend? Help other people out, and put your recommendations down below. I'd love to hear it as well. And if your recommendation is on this list, I'd love to hear that too. Anyways, links are down below in the description box as always. And the next roundup we're going to do will be the best mechanical keyboards of 2020, coming at the end of this year, right before the new year. And it's gonna be a big one. We pretty much have all of our picks ready. Now it's a matter of acquiring the boards, really. Well, actually, we only need to acquire one more. But I hope this was a helpful video. I'm pretty much losing my voice. It's been a tough morning.